Welcome to another exciting episode of the Million Dollar Peddlers. I'm Papergoy.
And I'm Mr-Magazine.
And I know we've touched on this before, this topic before, but I want to touch on it again because I think it's really, really important. I'm going to ask you something, Mr. Magazine.
All right.
If I hired you as a consultant for my business,
Okay.
how many things would you find to improve? Probably a lot, right?
I don't know. You're pretty good. You're pretty efficient. You're very organized. College educated. One-man band. You got a day job. It's hard to compete with that.
You steal my whole spiel right there.
I'm not saying I would make it better. I do things a little differently. So I might try and show you, from my point of view, hey, maybe this isn't the right way or the wrong way or different from yours, but it works for me, and you can decide on that or something. So, but I don't think as many as you think I would be changing, to be honest with you.
See, and I disagree with you because I think this is a phenomenon that is definitely out there. And you certainly can attest to this.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody thinks they can run your business better than you can run your business.
That is true. The world is full of a lot of judges. Yep, people love judging me, in my personal life and in my business. I get it every day.
But that's kind of what I want to bring up is you do your business your way, and I think that you would agree, much as I would agree with my business, there's room for improvement,
Sure.
of course. And I think that anybody that sits there and looks at their business and says, yep, we are 100% perfect, there is absolutely nothing I can do better, I think they're just deluding themselves, to be honest with you. I think every business can be run better, more efficiently than it is.
Well, and I would imagine they would have no goals to get bigger and better and grow. If they think they're the best they can possibly be, there's no room for increasing and getting bigger and better.
Yep, and we get down to, it's called in the business world, the corporate world, continuous improvement, and you want to continually improve what you're doing.
Sure.
And, it's a little different with me because I am a one-man band, whereas you've got employees, but, and I know you've done continuous improvement throughout the years, even just on the packing floor where all of a sudden you have it where you just move envelopes closer and that saves 3 seconds. But it saves 3 seconds per item.
Right.
And you multiply that out by 200 items a day. That's 10 minutes right there every single day.
Sure.
End of the week, you've saved an hour's worth of wages
Right.
by literally putting the envelopes here instead of up over here.
Right.
Let alone the thing that, hey, wait a minute, I'm beginning to notice that. Hey, the guy's got to bend or turn constantly. That's tough on his back. That's tough on his shoulders. If we put this at eye level, if we do this, if we do that. Now, that kind of leads me a little different than where I wanted to originally talk about. How often do your employees, and not just yours, any employees, how often are they willing to express their displeasure?
As often as they can.
But here's the crazy thing about it, and I don't think that... I think this happens in your business. I think it happens in a lot of other business. How often do they tell you about the really important things as opposed to just complaining? In other words, how often do they complain versus how often do they put it in a method that you can solve the problem?
Yeah, they definitely never put it in a method to be solved. But the complaining goes behind my back.
Right.
In front of other, employees and colleagues and so forth. I might hear a little heavy breathing here and there, but they never, come to me and say, hey, I have an issue with this. I don't like this. Can we do that? Or I want more money. And a lot of it is money. Again, they'd rather be bitter and complain about it than actually discuss it like an adult to me.
Well, and the reason I bring this up is I am very much I have to be able to sleep at night person. And I work for New York State. Mm-hmm. Big entity. I'm a cog in the wheel. They don't care about me. I completely understand that. Right. And obviously, if I were to quit tomorrow, I'm replaced. Well, actually, I wouldn't be, which is part of the problem. But that's a whole nother story. But I do email the big bosses, the people on top. And as I tell other people in my position and my bosses, the big people aren't going to do anything about the complaints that I have. However, if I don't tell them, they don't know about it. Mm-hmm. If I tell them, then at least they can't say we didn't know. And to anybody out there working in a job, tell the people above you, tell as high up the chain as you possibly can. Because again, it may not do anything, but the head of your plant, if he doesn't know this is an issue because you tell your boss and that's where it stops at, the head of the plant does not know it's an issue.
Right.
He cannot solve an issue he does not know about. And, if your employees, just use your employees, if they brought things to you, you would have the opportunity to solve them because you know about them.
Sure.
And let's say that they do have to walk 5 feet over to grab the envelopes, walk back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the way it's always been.
Yeah,
Is there a reason the envelopes are 5 feet away? Probably not. That's just the way the packing floor was set up, and you've never realized that they're walking 5 feet.
Right.
Now, if they say something about it, you say, "Oh, we can solve that.
Yeah,
we can move the envelopes right here. These are the envelopes you use most often. Let's put these closest, and the ones you use less often put further away."
Right.
And these are just the things that you do for continuous improvement. I mean, these are just small things. Just from here to there. Like one thing that I will tell you right now that I absolutely know that I have to improve when I retire is I absolutely need to get schedules. Because I've got it's not OCD or anything, but I'm going to call it OCD. I've got the OCD that if an email comes in, I've got to look at the email and I've got to solve the email right now. What I've got to do is almost list in a different browser so I don't see the emails come in.
Right.
And I'm going to list for 2 hours because otherwise an email comes in, I get distracted. Something sells, I get distracted. I find the item that sells, I go, and I'm very, very inefficient just because of my OCDs, for lack of a better way to put it. I realize this, and that would be something that if you were sitting there monitoring me, walking around behind me with a clipboard making notes on it, you'd say, waste a lot of time going and finding things, like not staying on one task.
Right.
So although everybody will be more than willing to help you solve all of your problems, keep track yourself of what your problems are and work on them as well. I picked up a postcard a long time ago that I actually for a long time had above my desk, and I don't know if you remember it or not. It was above my desk at the old house, and it said, "If you're so smart, how come you're not rich?" And I think
makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. And I think that when somebody offers you advice, take it with a grain of salt and keep that in the back of your mind. If they're so smart, why aren't they rich?
Right.
There are people who are willing to help you, but don't take everything that they tell you because it may not all work for you. They're telling you what works for them. They're telling you what works within their personality, their situation. And I try to help you as best I could. And I know that if I took your business over, I know I would run it differently. That being said, I have this sinking feeling that within about a week, I'd be packing myself and listing myself and working 22 hours a day doing all that because I'd scare off the employees.
Exactly. That's how I feel sometimes. Or every day.
So hopefully this helps you some. Work toward continuous improvement. Do a little self-reflection on what you need. Be willing to ask other people for advice. And don't worry, even if you don't ask for it, many people will offer it.
Yeah.
But take a lot of it with a grain of salt because what they're telling you may not be the best thing for you. So have a little confidence in how you're doing things, but see what your weaknesses are and work to change those as well. And there are some things that are just weaknesses that you just like the way that you like it because it's most convenient for you. It's in your comfort zone. I mean, I'll real quick, I'm going to give you a perfect example for me.
Okay.
What is probably the biggest difference between you and me in our business? And leave out employees, leave out one-man band, leave out all that.
Organization.
Okay, you're going a little different than I am. Yep, but the other side of that is you can't be overly organized because you've got a lot of people involved. So you could organize everything exactly as you want. And the perfect example for that was years ago when I alphabetized all your comic books in one area. And then the manager came through and just grabbed handfuls, put them back in different orders, and before you know it, they weren't alphabetized.
Right, yeah.
It's
record keeping. You keep very good records of like your sales from the past years and stuff, which I have zero of, but it's another thing I can think of.
Well, what I was going to say is you've got guts. I don't. You are willing to go big on deals. I'm not. and you've made some huge deals. What's the biggest deal that you've ever done? Leave out warehouse, which is a big deal, but collection wise.
Yeah, I mean, 150,000 that I paid. I think that was the most. One deal was 100,000 back-to-back years from the same guy, 200,000. So we're up there.
And I do. I couldn't sleep at night. I absolutely know that I couldn't sleep at night. Now leave out the fact that I couldn't handle that volume. That's part of the problem too. Is I can't handle the volume. And let's say that let's say that I did a $200,000 deal with the volume that I can handle. What's my per unit piece price at that point? Yeah, I'd be paying insane money, which then I would be scared of selling it because what if they're scammers? What if they're not buying it? What if I guessed wrong? What if the market crashes? What if?
Sure.
So you've got guts that I don't have. You might take a look and say, geez, Papergoy, you should get these bigger deals. You should do this. You should do that. And you would be right with your mindset. You're absolutely right. Stop working out of your house, get yourself a small storefront, do bigger deals, and so on. And that would be absolutely what you would do if you were thrown into my shoes.
Right.
And probably if I were thrown into your shoes, I'd probably start liquidating a lot of stuff to try to downsize some because I don't think I could sleep at night with your organization.
Right.
So do remember that as well. What works for him would not work for me because of my personality and vice versa. So do what you have to do for yourself. And you'll end up doing okay for yourself. And there's always a lot of people out there willing to help you no matter what. And you know what I could use right now? I could use them helping me.
Yeah.
What can they do for us?
They should hit the like button.
They really should.
Absolutely.
And we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.